I kind of zipped ahead in our meeting right before the break. 'Cause I wanted to get you to be thinking about promotion, because every team has promotional challenges. So let's back up a little bit. When you're consulting in the area of marketing, what does marketing deal with? At its essence, what's marketing about? Out of the book. What's marketing?
I would guess customers or advertising.
All right.
Getting more sales.
Yeah, that's how I put it. Get more sales. Not advertising per se as a means, but. So. You should think of marketing in a pragmatic way. Anything the business does to make transactions happen. Anything the business does to make transactions happen. So it's not about brand building, it's not about advertising, it's anything that we do to make transactions happen. So what's that include? Maria?
Or PE metrics, also the price, the place, promotion.
Well, at the end of the day, it includes a huge list of possibilities for any organization, for any entity. You know, how does Notre Dame sell more tickets to the men's basketball games? Think of all the things Notre Dame could do to make people buy more men's basketball tickets. Because they seem to be buying women's basketball tickets, but not near as many men basketball tickets. Anything we could do. And so the problem from a practical standpoint of making transactions happen, all the things you could do, is that list is limitless. Limited by what?
Time.
Let's say not the budget. That's what people think. Limited by what? Not resources. Limited by,
The market.
no. Limited by. This is where marketing is different than operations or finance. Limited by
Your imagination is that.
limited by your imagination. Not money. Be nice to have more money to spend on marketing, but it ain't happening. Your clients don't have money to spend on marketing. So what do they gravitate towards? Got no money, need to make transactions happen. What do they gravitate towards? It's the fall breaks over, you gotta get back into this stuff.
Social media.
Absolutely. Why do they gravitate to social media?
Free.
They think it's free. What do they then do? They're gonna do social media. What do?
Most likely they will focus on narrative, like how to tell people about the product, to persuade them and to find creative ways how to do it.
So their whole messaging strategy is not really a strategy at all. It's whatever felt right. What social media platforms do they use?
Mostly Facebook.
Mostly the ones they
that they're familiar with.
like or are familiar with, not necessarily the ones their clients or prospective clients use. And so they think social media marketing is doing what? Posting twice a week or once a week. And some of them, their posts are about the dance club they went to Friday night, not anything to do with the business. Or, personal life stuff. That's not marketing, certainly not effective marketing. But that's what they think. Marketing is this abundance of activities that are tied to people's imagination. So do you know the business Enterprise Rent-A-Car? Never heard of it? So what's the problem if you're a rental car company? What's the business problem if you're a rental car company? Think like a consultant. Rental cars. Where do you go to get a rental car? Give me an example. What company? Hertz? Avis?
Oh, Avis, yes.
Okay. What's the problem if you're Hertz or Avis?
The depreciation of cars.
Yeah, a little bit. What's the problem if you're Hertz or Avis?
Differentiating.
Why is that the problem? That is the answer. Why?
Rental car places don't sell specific, only specific makes and models of cars don't sell.
So Hertz provides subcompact, compact, midsize, full size, and so does Avis. They're providing the exact same product. There's no difference. Or pretty much the same price. And the place you go to get it, they all look alike. The employees they have are the exact same kind of employees. So what is car rental? Come on. Like most of your clients' businesses are commodities. And so the big challenge with commodity businesses is how do you differentiate? Okay. So Enterprise gets started. Enterprise is they're not new anymore, but at the time they were new. All these entrenched players, competitors, just like your clients face, are out there in the marketplace. Avis, Hertz. And along comes Enterprise and they're trying to get into the market. And it's a commodity market, so they need to differentiate themselves. So how do they decide to differentiate themselves? Anybody know? Anybody ever heard the tagline that goes with Enterprise Rent-A-Car? Their tagline and their source of differentiation was, "We pick you up." We pick you up, meaning you don't have to go to the rental car place, we'll come get you. Does that make sense? Okay. Unfortunately, that didn't resonate with the marketplace. And you got to start with customers. So when Enterprise gets started, they're not getting a lot of business. And they've invested a bunch of money in launching this rental car agency and getting these cars and setting up these. And so it's dead quiet at the Enterprise rental place on a Monday morning at 7 a.m. Dead quiet. We need to make transactions happen. It ain't working. We're failing. So the manager takes the resources they do have. What do they have? It's a rental car place. What do they got? Cars. And what else they got standing around doing nothing? Employees, people who wash the cars and pump the gas into the cars and work the counter. So they took 5 of their cars and they put 2 employees in each car. Okay? And they sent the cars to a place called Krispy Kreme Donuts. You may know Krispy Kreme, much better than Dunkin' Donuts. Anyway. And each car with 2 employees in it purchased 10 dozen donuts. Okay, 10 dozen donuts. Marketing begins where? With the customer. Study the customer, study buying behavior, segment the market. Let's think about buying behavior, starting with the customer. I have to travel a lot because we have all these cities in our program and research purposes and other. I have to travel a lot. And when I travel places, I had to visit one of the cities during spring break in North Carolina. When I travel, I rent cars. But I always get the car at the airport. So I fly someplace, get the car at the airport and go where I'm going. Meaning I don't need to be picked up. Which begs the question, studying your customer, why would I need to be picked up? Why? Yossi, why would I need to be? Because of the convenience. Okay, yeah.
You aren't able to walk.
I can walk.
Oh, yeah, but for another customer.
You're not familiar
Why
with-
why would I need to be picked up?
You have your suitcase? You're not familiar with the city?
Car breaks
My
down.
car is broken down. Why is my car broken down? Because I was in a car accident or the transmission went out on my car. You with me? Okay. The insight comes from studying the buyer. People need to be picked up because there's something wrong with their car. Five cars, 2 employees in each car. They went to Krispy Kreme donuts. Each car bought 10 dozen donuts. Where did they take the donuts? Where did they take the donuts?
Body shops.
2 auto repair shops, excellent. 2 auto body shops. They walked in, say, good morning, I'm Mike. I'm from Enterprise Rent-A-Car. We just wanted to wish you a great week. Here's some donuts. Do you mind if we leave some business cards and brochures on your counter? What do you think happens over the next 2 months? What do you think happens over the next 2 months? Huh?
They started getting clients.
How do they start getting clients?
People would know about because
Because
the places where they.
when they took their car in to get it repaired, and they said, I need to get a car to use while you're repairing my car. All the auto body shops started referring people to Enterprise. They suddenly, traffic picks up, they suddenly get traction, they suddenly start succeeding in the marketplace. Does that make sense? What's that telling you? This list of activities that can make transactions happen are limited only by your imagination. And you, as Notre Dame students, need to bring that imagination to the marketing efforts of your clients. You need to be thinking this way. What's beautiful about that example? It's pretty simple. Let's give some donuts away. What's beautiful about that example? Yes. Yeah. I could spend $100,000 on conventional media advertising, on the radio, on TV, on the internet. Or I could buy a bunch of donuts. Our entrepreneurs can't afford expensive media campaigns. But they can do clever things like giving donuts to the auto body shops. That's something we're going to call guerrilla marketing. And each of you, almost every one of you, for every client you have, has at least one, some of you have two deliverables tied to marketing. Whatever you do in that area needs to be a guerrilla kind of tactic. I told this story, this exact same story I just told. So we have a sister program with the Poverty Initiative over in Gary, Indiana. For those of you who don't know Indiana or know Gary, it's one of the toughest cities, economically challenged cities in the state of Indiana. It's near Chicago, but not near enough. And so they struggle. A lot of abandoned factories and buildings. And we're doing the Poverty and Entrepreneurship Program. And I told this story that I just told you. And about 10 days later, this just happened. Since we've been knowing each other, this just happened. About 10 days later, the woman who runs the sister program in Gary calls me up. She says, "You won't believe what happened." She says, "Remember James?" And I didn't remember James. A lot of faces, a lot of people. James was the guy sitting in the middle when you gave the presentation. He's the guy that had the car detailing business. Oh, yeah, I do remember him. He asked some interesting questions. Well, James got a hold of me today. And he told me he just delivered a bunch of donuts to prospective customer organizations. And I'm thinking, I didn't mean for him to go do donuts. I was just giving him an example of thinking guerrilla, thinking different. She goes, no, it worked. What do you mean it worked? Well, one of the people he gave donuts to contacted him and said, we're a car dealership and we'd like to ask you if you could detail 15 of our cars. Yeah. So he does. And after he's done the detailing of the 15 cars and charged them and gotten paid, they said to him, "We really like your work. We'd like to use you on an ongoing basis, but your market price is too high because we do volume. So we'd like to give you more business, but we need a lower price, slightly lower. What's he say? What's the entrepreneur say? Most of them would go, sure, because our entrepreneurs are too quick to lower their prices. And you gotta keep them from doing that, but keep them to stick to the high, whatever the price is. That's not what he did. What do you think he did? What did he tell the car dealers?
As another prospective client and like there's a competition, so we will not lower the price. I don't know, like there's another offer. I don't know.
No. Good to guess, but that's not it. He says, because he's working out of his house, as many of our entrepreneurs are. He says to them, because he's starting to get it. He's starting to get what it really means to think entrepreneurially. And what it really means to think entrepreneurial is not that you have to invent the next medical tech device. The entrepreneurial mindset is what you do when you hit the brick wall. And all of these entrepreneurs hit a bunch of brick walls. What do you do when you hit the brick wall? He's sitting there doing car detailing, but he has no place to do it from because he runs a business out of his house. So he says to the car dealership, I'll give you the lower price, but he has the strength of character because it's easy to go, oh, I need the business. Okay, I'll cut my price. I'll give you the lower price if you give me
Facility to work with like the space.
a space to use in your auto dealership where I can bring my customers' cars and detail them. What's he doing? He's negotiating. He's bartering, right? What does that mean? He's bartering. Giving up this to get that, right? So the donut part of this is a great example of guerrilla thinking. But then he took it a step further and what? If he didn't get the space from the car dealership, what would he have to do? What would he have to do if he didn't get that space? To have space, what would he have to do?
To pay for it.
He'd have to pay for it. He'd have to go rent space and pay for it. You with me? Rent space and pay for it. How have each of you grown up? What is your mind conditioned around when you need something? Our mind is built around the way we're conditioned, the way we're raised, the way we're reinforced. If you need something, go acquire it. Go buy it. You need a car, go buy a car. You need clothes to wear to school, go buy the clothes. I'm stating the obvious, I know. You're going, what's your point here? The mindset you're trying to nurture in your clients is when you need something for your business, when you need something, the last thing you do is buy it. The last thing you do is buy it. What are all the other ways you could get it without buying? What did this guy do? he gave slightly lower prices on detailing cars for them. But he got space for free. So he doesn't have to go rent his own space, he's using their space. What's it called? What's it called when you find clever ways to use other people's resources instead of using your own?
Delegation.
Delegation is a good word. Think of the question I'm asking, because it's a big question for this program. What's it called when you find a way to use other people's resources to accomplish your needs? That's a form of this. It is, yeah, it is being resourceful,
Fair enough.
but there's a word for it. And the word is leveraging. Leveraging other people's resources. So think of it as resource leverage. And that's what this beautiful example of this guy from Derry is. He's done both guerrilla tactics and resource leveraging. This is how you got to get your clients thinking. Does this make sense? And so as you approach marketing, leveraging and guerrilla thinking are centerpieces of what will work for our clients. Clients who have no money. Clients that have no resources. Okay? So I want to build on this theme, but, and I will more in just a second. But let's put all this together. Marketing is anything you do in your business to make transactions happen. In fact, these days we modify that slightly. Anything you do in your business to make transactions happen and build relationships with customers. Make transactions, get them to buy from you, and then nurture a relationship with you. So that was the first point. Second point is the possible ways you can make transactions happen, as you saw with the example I just gave you of the enterprise rent-a-car, is limitless, limited only by your imagination. But that's kind of frustrating because you go, Mike, if the list is limitless, that just causes more complexity for me to wade through your limited list. So that begs a question. If there are all these creative ways I can make transactions happen for anything, is there a simple way to organize all those things? And there is. And Maria, it's called?
Outsource,
It's called what?
outsource or delegation? I don't know.
It's called the
Oh,
4
4 Ps.
Ps of marketing. So any possible way you can make a transaction happen fits into 4 boxes. That's why it's powerful. It's easy to learn. It's easy to master. The marketing mix is the proper term. Called the 4 Ps, but it's the proper term is the marketing mix. But the practical point is, any way you can make transactions happen will either be an aspect of product, price, promotion, or place. What does product include? Well, the depth and breadth of your product offering. Remember the diagram you did in your business model? That's part of your product strategy or your product approach. So when I say the word product, if you're selling a service, just replace the word product with service, product or service, whatever it is you're selling. But the product includes things like the brand name. The brand name. The logo. for the product. The tagline for the product. The features you decide to include in the product or service, or with the product or service. Think about what you told me a moment ago. I was asking about car rental places. You said you gotta differentiate yourself. Differentiation is part of product. Something called positioning. How we want to position the company in the customer's mind is part of product. If I augment the product by providing free delivery, that's part of product. What does price include? You're going, well, it includes the price, Mike. Yeah, but what else is in there?
Maybe the,
Because there are all kinds of clever possibilities, like,
like, for example, if we divide it by packages and like for different like customer segments. like
okay,
pricing.
think about that for a second. Let's stick with the car rental place, and we'll talk about pricing soon. But what did we decide we sell at our car rental place? We sell a subcompact, compact car, mid-size car, and a full-size car. If I'm the entrepreneur with this business, what's a big pricing question? Pricing question.
Like how much does the difference in size create a difference in the price, I should say?
So how much, that's exactly right, Iman. How much gap should there be in the prices? Should the difference between this price and this price be different than the difference between this price and this price be different? As you go up the product line, should the price gap stay the same? What do you think the answer to that question is?
Like it shouldn't stay,
It should not stay the same. What should happen?
it should decrease. Should increase.
Yeah. The gap gets bigger. As you go up the line, it needs to get bigger to convey equal incremental increases in quality, or the perceived quality or value I'm getting. So it takes a bigger leap in the price to convey an equal incremental increase in the quality or the value you're getting. That's part of price. What else is part of price?
How the customer base. How the customer base, like credit cards.
Not so much part of price, it influences price, yeah, because you're paying more if you use a credit card, but maybe, usually. Matt, have you ever been to a bar?
Yes.
The bar.
Nobody's listening. There's a lot of bars that have ladies' night. What happens on ladies' night?
When we get a discount?
Women are paying half the price men are paying for the same exact beverage, right? Those price differentials, that's what they're called, price differentials based on different market
Segments.
segments are part of pricing. The Enterprise dealership in South Bend charges Notre Dame employees a different price than everybody else in town. Does that make sense? Probably, given that we're the biggest employer in town. That price differential probably makes sense. Price includes rebates. What's a BOGO? Buy one, get one for free? That's part of price. Any kind of price promotion is part of price. What is place? Right?
It's a place of distribution, whether we sell it like on our own and deliver on our own, or we sell it via some like retailers. Like, so which form, like which volumes.
Okay, so the last part was the key. If I'm the woman who makes chocolates that I talked about before, artisan chocolatier, right? She opened a small retail shop. So place is how the product gets to the customer. It gets to the customer by them coming to our shop and getting it, buying it at the shop. Wait a minute. The main reason she rented that space was not as a sales point, but because she needed a place to mix chocolate, because she wasn't allowed to do it from her home. Local laws. So she didn't get a lot of walk-in traffic to buy her chocolate. She got some. What do you think starts happening when people do buy her chocolates and they like them? And they want to reorder because here comes Mother's Day and I want to get my mom some nice chocolates for Mother's Day. She starts to realize a lot of my repeat customers don't come to the shop. They'd rather just buy by going on my website and ordering on the website. So what have we just identified? Sell at the store. So let's just draw this as a picture. Here's the business, Sinai Chocolates. And we're looking at place, which is also called distribution. Okay. How do they distribute their product? They sell it at the store. They sell it online through their website. Can you think of any other distribution variables or place approaches?
Maybe it's some like festivals or like local events, or maybe it's.
I'm gonna come to that in a second in a different way. Kiki?
Maybe like a third party store.
Yes. Who would like high-end nice chocolates? What stores?
Nice restaurants.
Maybe, but maybe, yeah. She actually, yeah.
Watches the store. A watches the store, maybe. Florence.
Yeah, it's not bad. What she actually did was go to nicer hotels, and nicer hotels have gift shops in them. And she got them to carry her product, as Kiki has suggested. So sell through gift shops. All right. She discovers, because you're learning from the business and you're helping your clients learn from the business, which is why the numbers matter. She discovers that, and I think I told you this, 75% of her sales all year long come on 3 days. 75% of her sales all year long come from Christmas, Mother's Day, and Valentine's Day. So the week leading up to each of those, 70% of her annual sales. Right? Which then leads you to what if you're the entrepreneur? How do I sell all the other months of the year? How do I change these percentages, so I'm selling a bigger proportion in the summertime or in whenever. With me? So she starts to find out that Notre Dame has a lot of events. A lot of events at which there's a lunch or there's a dinner. And they like to put a little gift at the dinner spot. And Sinai chocolates and the pretty little bags they come in are perfect. So they start getting some jobs here on the campus, which opens up the whole B2B side of sales, because they've been focused all on B2C. And so let's call that direct sales, B2B. That means she has to go call on Notre Dame. She has to go call on these companies, right? And I'd put what you suggested in terms of going to pop-up markets or whatever as another form of direct selling. But what do you see here? For what?
Distribution gem.
For distribution channels. That's place. That's place. A number of our entrepreneurs with products have gotten their products into Purple Porch, which is a store in downtown South Bend that prides itself on selling locally made stuff. And some of our entrepreneurs have failed to get into Purple Porch because they're just too scared or nervous to go in and ask. Too scared or nervous. That's where you can help them build up that confidence. Give them a sales presentation. Okay, and then promotion. Within the marketing mix is promotion. What have we not covered? We talk about product or service, price, place. Promotion is, what's another word for promotion?
Marketing, advertising.
Communication. Any way that you communicate with customers is going to fall under promotion. Are there a lot of different ways to communicate with customers? Yes, and so within the marketing mix is something called the promotional mix. A mix within a mix. The promotional mix. And it consists of advertising, personal selling, sales promotion, and publicity. A mix within a mix. Why do you think we call this thing the marketing mix? Ada, why do we call it the marketing mix?
It's like a mix of different marketing tools.
It is that. More than a mix, calling it a mix suggests what? It's a key problem for your entrepreneurs.
That they come together.
That they come together. That they reinforce one another. That they're internally consistent. So there was an entrepreneur. And the entrepreneur was a kind of crazy guy, unreasonable guy, like so many entrepreneurs, in a clever way. There was a product that had been around forever. So it wasn't a brand new product, it was an old, mature product. The product had been around 100 years. And if it's been around 100 years, what's that tell you? It's deeply entrenched. Its image is deeply entrenched in the minds of customers. You with me? The product, this was a number of years ago, was blue jeans. You have blue jeans on, blue jeans. How do people think about blue jeans?
They're like,
Yeah, but how do they, have you, how do they think about it?
they're like,
But blue jeans,
simple.
are you going to a fancy restaurant wearing those blue jeans? Are you going, how do you think about blue jeans?
It's casual.
Hack around, mess around, durable, everyday wear. You wear blue jeans to do what? Play some pickup basketball. Cut the grass. Change the oil in your car. Go to class. Hack around, mess around, durable, everyday clothing. And the going market price at the time of my story for blue jeans was $15 a pair. Been a couple years. $15 a pair. Now, part of the reason I think you might have struggled with my question was because you're influenced by what's happened since. But if you go back to the time of the story, blue jeans were durable, rugged, everyday wear. 15 bucks, buy a pair, wash them once a month, whatever. And this crazy guy comes along. And he takes blue jeans, same denim, but he changes the cut slightly. He puts gold thread up the seam, and he writes his name on the butt. He writes his name on the rear end of the pants. And his name? Everybody knows his name? No, his name was definitely not Levi. That's the guy from 100 years ago. Levi's were invented actually for during the gold rush to go out in the fields and mine for gold, rugged, tough.
Pure gas, but Tommy Hilfiger.
No, that came later. Yes, his name was Calvin Klein. And he's writing the name on the back of these pants. And his price is $75 a pair at a time when regular blue jeans were 15. And it's still a pair of denim pants. Why the heck would anybody pay 75 bucks for something you can get for 15? It had to be meaningfully differentiated, right? What Calvin Klein invented was designer label blue jeans. But they're still blue jeans. So how do you get away with this? How do you get 75 bucks for something people pay 15 for? The answer lies in a well-constructed, balanced marketing mix. So let's start with product. What's a radical concept of the product? Insane. Everybody knows blue jeans are to go out and play some flag football, go cut the grass. What would be a radical concept? Radical, crazy. We must have been doing drugs. The product concept was blue jeans as, come on, help me out, radical. Blue jeans as
Style.
better than style. Blue jeans as fashion. That sounds crazy. Doesn't now, but it did at the time. Come on, they're blue jeans. No, no, no. Blue jeans is fashion. That's a product, unique product concept. Your clients need a unique product concept. All right, so for me to conceive of blue jeans as fashion, what's the price have to be? To change the customer's perception and see blue jeans as fashion, what's the price have to be? Not just higher, but a ton higher. Is this a ton higher? Okay, that's called premium pricing. Charging well above people, it has to be a psychologically meaningful difference. Is 75 psychologically meaningfully different than 15? You bet. To convey, no, this is something, this is fashion. Right? It's all about segmentation and targeting. So when we launch designer label blue jeans, who's the target market? Who do you think the original? Doesn't matter what happened later. That got us into the market, got us a foothold in the market, a beachhead. Who do you think the original target market was? Designer label blue jeans. Yes.
Celebrities?
They were used in promotions subsequently, but that wasn't the target market.
Teen girls.
Girls is right. Females who were not teen, but because teens don't have money to pay, well, some do, but, huh? Women 20 to 35 with money. So we're not going for the masses, women 20 to 35 with money. That was the target audience originally. All right. If I'm going to convey a message of fashion to women 20 to 35 with money, how do I reach them? What's the promotional approach?
Social media.
It's different today. At this time, social media wasn't a thing.
The Brooke Shields ad.
That came later.
Yeah.
That came later.
Magazines,
But you're right, there was.
television,
It was magazines. What kind of magazines?
like these fancy like GQ, I don't know.
GQ would be men.
Yeah, okay.
So what do we want?
And,
So we're gonna add, we're gonna have full page ads, 4-color, and those ads are gonna be in upscale fashion magazines like Vogue, like Elle magazine, Cosmopolitan. But that was the marketing approach, the promotional approach. Where are we going to sell these things? Where are we going to sell? Walmart?
no,
Definitely not. Target? Certainly not. Macy's? No way. Too average. You gotta go where?
some fashion boutiques.
Only to the premier department stores like Saks and specialty boutiques. Yes, very exclusive. So exclusive distribution with high-end department stores and especially clothing stores. That's why the new product, as crazy as it seemed, was hugely successful. Created all kinds of spin-off brands. Ultimately the marketing mix changed. That's what happens as products evolve in the marketplace. They change their distribution approach, they change their pricing approach. But what do you notice about this marketing mix?
Consistent.
Yes. These components reinforce one another. They're internally consistent. What do you need to be thinking about with your clients? What is their current marketing mix? Well, it's both flawed and probably incomplete. And so your marketing efforts need to start by characterizing what is and what could be in each of these four areas: product, price, promotion, and place. So that's thinking strategically. The conversation we had last time. Remember how I showed you a selling approach for the eyebrow business, microblading business, virtual brows and beauty? That's thinking strategically. Looks at buyer behavior, looks at market segmentation, designs a logical selling process to walk a customer through their buying process. And the key for our clients is you need to get them to think strategically, but act how? Act how? Edit here, but it's not here anymore. Think strategically, but act guerrilla. And towards that end, let me just. Let's talk about what we mean by the guerrilla approach to marketing for your clients. The more you can, whatever it takes, go drink a bunch of wine, whatever it takes. Get out of the box. Think different. Think alternative. Take advantage of the South Bend context, South Bend environment, but start to think guerrilla. And so this concept of guerrilla comes from guerrilla warfare. The United States is something like 38-1 in wars. What's the one we lost? Vietnam. Why did we lose Vietnam? We had more money. We had better weapons. Why we lose? Because the other guys used guerrilla tactics. Clever, taking advantage of their surroundings, surprise. And that's, history's replete with that. How did the nomadic Arab tribesmen beat the mighty Ottoman Empire in the 19-teens? The French and Indian War. How did the Afghanis defeat the mighty Soviet Union? It's all guerrilla. Who was the original guerrilla? In the Bible.
This one, the Goliath and like I forgot.
The original guerrilla warrior was David. Of David and Goliath. What did he do?
The stone.
He cheated, right? We're gonna fight. No, I'm gonna take a stone and throw it in your eye and blind you, and he won. What if you could take that kind of thinking, but apply it in marketing? Because it's always the little under-resourced player taking on the bigger power. How did the US ever beat Britain back in the colonial days? They were the mightiest power on earth. Using guerrilla thinking in your entrepreneur's ventures. And so in the context of marketing, what we're talking about is marketing that's unconventional, non-traditional, unexpected. marketing that is creative, doesn't cost much, that's low cost, like we ain't gonna pay for expensive billboards, we're gonna go buy some donuts. If you go to any big-sized or mid-sized city in America, sadly, what you'll encounter are lots of homeless people. And when you run in to a homeless person on the street, what do? You'll give them a hug. What do? You keep walking. You look down, you look away, you cross the street. We avoid the homeless. There's an entrepreneur. He had 4 pizza restaurants in Portland, Oregon. Within a good-sized city. He goes out to these homeless folks. He feeds them. He pays them. You ever seen homeless people holding those scrawled signs on a piece of cardboard? Homeless, hungry, help me. Suddenly, all those hand-scrawled signs say, I'm homeless. I've tried every kind of pizza in town, and Bilbo's is the best.
Okay.
Well, it turns out tens of thousands of people, unbeknownst to themselves, see homeless people every day in those cities. Only now they're noticing them because what happens to Bilbo's sales? And you could say, well, isn't that a little taking advantage of homeless people? I mean, he fed them, he paid them, but still, there are ethical issues, sure. The point is, you gotta think different about marketing with our clients. We had some students who, not students, I'm sorry, inner city kids. Inner city kids. And the inner city kids, as you may know, in America, there's a lot of drive-by shootings and people killed in our big cities. Tragic. And when somebody shot and killed, it became kind of a tradition, especially if it was a youth, a teenager, to create a t-shirt that had their image on it with their birth and death date on it. These young inner city kids decided to create a business out of this to keep the memory of these people alive. So they started something called RIP clothing, rest in peace, RIP clothing. And immediately they sell a ton in the inner city. But that ain't where the money is. Where's the money? In the suburbs. They weren't selling squat. They weren't able to penetrate the suburbs. Got to think guerrilla. So what do? They go to 10 of the suburban high schools. Okay? What do you think they did at the high schools? I hope you understand this isn't just about consulting. If you can learn to think and act the way I'm talking about, you're going to kick butt in the job market. You're going to do amazing things in your careers. These are life success approaches. It's just our poverty entrepreneurs need them. They went to the 10 high schools and they stood outside when school lets out. And they simply stopped kids as they're coming out of the high school and said, so I stop you, Maria, who are the 5 most popular kids in the school? And they wrote it down. Then who are the 5 most popular? They write it down. And they ask like 50 kids. Okay. Then tell me what happens next. Use your imagination.
They probably went to those kids and
They might have offered.
They had to figure out which names showed up. A list of 5. So I gotta cut the list down to what names show up the most time on the most lists. Right? And those people are,
The people they marketed.
what do we call them now on social media?
Oh, the influencers.
We call them influencers now. But the 5 most popular kids in school are, the marketing term is opinion leaders. So what did these kids do? Henry?
Probably went to those kids and they might have like offered to pay them to wear the shirts,
Didn't have to pay them a penny. Just offered them
the shirt.
the shirts. The popular kids start wearing the shirts. Every kid from school sees the popular kids wearing the shirts and where do I get one? These guys kicked butt in marketing. They did fantastic. You don't have to spend a ton of money on radio advertising, TV advertising, or some of the most expensive advertising, you may not know this, is internet advertising. It's outrageously expensive. You're charged on a per click basis, but if you're using any keywords that are reasonably popular, like insurance, the cost per click is just crazy. It's expensive. Our entrepreneurs can't afford it. We've got to think guerrilla. And so guerrilla behavior is doing more with less, using other people's resources, attempting to influence creatively word of mouth. There's a college town in a state near ours. And in that college town, there's a jewelry store. And jewelry stores are another one of those businesses that a typical jewelry store, over 70% of their annual sales are around Christmas. It's that you either have a great Christmas or you're screwed. This guy, this entrepreneur that owned a jewelry store, starts thinking like a gorilla. And this is where concepts like buzz marketing and viral marketing come into the picture. He runs a promotion at his store. His store is in the Midwest, so this part of the country. He runs a promotion in his store saying, buy a diamond from me between December 1st and December 21st. And what does it do in the wintertime here?
Cold.
And the white stuff.
No snow.
Snows. Buy a diamond from me between December 1st and December 21st. And if there's a white Christmas this year, I'll give you 80% of your purchase price back. You with me? What happened? What happened when you saw that promotion?
I would buy one because I want to play the game, it's fun. And see if I
But
can
minimally, what are you gonna do? Even if you don't?
Tell people about it.
Yeah, you can tell your sister, you can tell your best friend. You see that crazy guy, that jewelry store guy, he's gonna lose his shirt. It's gonna snow on Christmas and he's gonna have to pay everybody 80% of their purchase price back. What's that called when you tell him and he tells her? It's called buzz. Creating buzz around your business. And that's what this guy did. He probably studied meteorological charts pretty carefully and seeing the probability of a white Christmas. But what else is probably true? As crazy as that is, and as much as you're likely to talk to other people about it, create the buzz, hear what that crazy guy's doing. Man, it's good. What else did he probably know? First of all, that promotion is going to get him a lot more business. Second of all, he knows what his margins are. And what are margins on jewelry? 300%. Can I afford to give 80% of the customer back and still not lose money? So he's actually not taking the big risk it sounds like he's taking. He's just being a clever guerrilla marketer. And that's what I'm trying to do, is encourage you to think like a guerrilla. Come up with these clever alternative, low cost. Right? What do students do on this campus if they got something that's really important to them? They chalk the sidewalks. What is chalking the sidewalk? That's a guerrilla tactic. It's low cost and one sidewalk on this campus chalked creatively. How many people gonna see it in a day? Thousands, right? And because it's chalked and you're not used to seeing it, so there's some surprise element to it, you read it. It creates incredible awareness. I'm not promoting sidewalk chalking, I'm just trying to give you examples. It's all around us, you just don't think of it as guerrilla. Getting your entrepreneurs to use the back of bathroom stall doors. That's a billboard. What are people doing when they're sitting on the toilet? Looking at the door. Well, put a message on the door about your flowers or whatever you're selling. Amen? Are you getting it? Different way of thinking. See you Thursday.